Once upon a time, in a grand and beautiful kingdom, there lived a young princess who was as kind as she was lovely. She had everything her heart desired, but her most treasured possession was a golden ball, which she loved to toss high into the air and catch. One day, as she played near a deep, dark well in the forest, the golden ball slipped from her fingers and fell into the well with a splash. The princess peered down into the well, but the ball had sunk deep into the murky water. She began to cry, her tears falling like rain. Just then, she heard a curious voice.
"Why do you weep, princess?"
She looked around and saw, to her surprise, a small frog sitting at the edge of the well.
"Oh, it's you, old water splasher. My golden ball has fallen into the well, and I can't reach it."
"I can fetch it for you, but what will you give me in return?"
"Whatever you wish, dear frog. My jewels, my crown, even the finest clothes I wear."
But the frog shook his head.
"I have no need for such things. If you will let me eat from your plate, drink from your cup, and sleep in your bed, I shall retrieve your golden ball."
The princess, thinking the frog's request was silly and impossible, agreed at once.
Yes, yes, I promise."
The frog dived into the well, and soon returned, the golden ball clutched in his mouth. He placed it at the princess's feet. Overjoyed, the princess picked up her ball and ran back to the castle, forgetting all about the frog. That evening, as the princess dined with her father, the king, there came a knock at the door.
"Princess, youngest princess, open the door for me."
The princess's heart sank, and she told the king about her encounter with the frog.
"A promise is a promise,"
said the wise king.
"You must let him in."
With great reluctance, the princess opened the door, and the little frog hopped in. The frog looked up at her and said,
"Lift me onto the table, so I may eat from your plate."
With a grimace, the princess did as he asked. The frog ate heartily and then said,
"Now, carry me to your chamber, where I shall sleep on your bed."
The princess obeyed, though she was unhappy. But as she lay in bed that night, with the frog beside her, she was filled with anger and disgust. In a moment of frustration, she grabbed the frog and threw him against the wall. But then, something magical happened. The frog didn't fall to the ground as expected. Instead, he transformed into a handsome young prince. The prince explained that he had been cursed by a wicked witch, and only by the kindness of a princess could he regain his true form. The princess was astonished and overjoyed, and soon, the two became fast friends. The next morning, the prince invited the princess to his kingdom, and they rode off together in a grand carriage. Behind the carriage rode Iron Henry, the prince's loyal servant. Henry had been so heartbroken when his master was cursed that he had bound his chest with iron bands to keep it from breaking. As they traveled, the carriage jolted, and the iron bands snapped, one by one.
What was that sound?
It is the iron bands breaking, for my heart is filled with joy now that you are free,
said faithful Henry. And so the prince and the princess lived happily ever after. Their story a testament to the power of kindness and the magic that lies within a promise kept.